Wow. There we go.
Perfect. You can all see the slides?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, as we said, we are the Western University. We started the Rotary Club at the university. He's the vice president, and I don't know why, but I got elected as district governor for 7720. And perhaps because we did some good stuff with Rotary. But before we go into the work we have done with Rotary, I want to talk about why I came to the United States. And why I came to the States was, since I was a little boy, I had this one dream of playing college tennis abroad. And everyone who has a certain amount of level wants to play in the United States. The United States has a really good reputation in regards of sports. He came to play, I want to play, but not everybody makes it. So I invested a lot of time into my dream. I dedicated a lot of my energy in working hard on being on the court and working on my skill set. And finally, I made the dream happen. I lived the dream of coming to the United States. I was happy and really, really proud of myself. However, life changes happen, and I got injured. And I couldn't play sports anymore. And as you can imagine, it was a pretty devastating experience. But I seeked help. I had to undergo a surgery, and physically, yes, I felt better, but mentally, I was in really bad shape. So I sought help, went to a counselor, and realized the importance of mental health for a happy and healthy life.
Yeah, it's funny because I've got such a similar story to Gregor's, and we got two people from the opposite sides of the world coming together in the middle of nowhere, like Rocky Mount. Like, who would have thought? But how it worked out for me was when I was in New Zealand, I got a scholarship to my dream high school. We're the #1 seeded school for soccer. I was super excited. Like, this was honestly like the biggest thing that's ever happened to me. And then I worked really hard over the summer, made sure I was training 3 times a day, no days off. And then first week, bang, I hurt my back. I ruptured my disc and I was out for 2 years. I think there was a culmination of events as I've grown up that have helped me realize the importance of mental health. But I always revert back to that one event because that was probably the lowest I had ever been. I remember when I got hurt for the first time ever, I think I cried at school. Walking up to the nurse's office, I knew it was something serious. And that's where I kind of had to learn how to navigate the roller coaster of life. I found new passions in leadership, service, academics, and then I looked for my next challenge. Where could I grow? How could I continue evolving as an individual? And where could I play the highest level of soccer? And America came to the door. I mean, the opportunity came, so I said, why not? And here we are.
And finally enough, both of us were rattled. We struggled with mental health, but we used our adversity to make a negative into positive. And we came up with something backed by Rotary. We came up with a book. It's called the Rotary Mindset.
It's funny how it came to be because as a freshman, I didn't know anyone at the school. So all the seniors and juniors were just being nice to us, dining with us, eating food with us, having conversations. And one day I've met Gregor and we've just shared our stories. A few days later, I've heard my name as I'm walking out of the cafe. It's Hardy, and I'm looking around like, whoa, who's this mental person? And then Gregor's come around and he said, I've got an idea. Let's do a course. And I was like, okay, we're not qualified. We're not teachers. I'm not Tony Robbins. You're just Gregor from Germany. Like, who are we? We're nobodies, right? But then as we started, we said, why not? Let's give it a go. So instead of a course, we decided to do a journal. And we thought, how could we give the most value to students? And we thought it has to be self-guided. It has to be a safe space for students. So we came up with a 6-week journal. Our goal is to help students develop resilience, find their inner hero. That is our metaphor because we believe everyone has a story to share and internal strengths they haven't discovered. And we combine gratitude, reflection, personal growth, all these important concepts in one book. So how does it work, Gregor?
So how does it work? In the journey of having a better relationship with oneself, the journey starts with 5 different topics about self-reflection, energy sources, gratitude, adversity, and success. Each day builds on the last. Hero, as he said, is used as a metaphor throughout the book because we think, I'm a hero, he's a hero, you are a hero, but you have to find a hero in yourself. So we want to empower the student a little bit. And we have engaging illustrations, which makes it more fun.
So how we almost explain being a hero is not everyone has to go around saving the world, but everyone has strengths and qualities that they utilize for the betterment of others and themselves. I mean, Spider-Man is the same thing. Although being bit by a spider won't give us the ability to do the same things, but
You don't know that.
we can all learn, and how he uses his skills and abilities to help others and be the best version of himself. So that for us is being your hero. So this is almost an example page. I mean, talking about heroes, I think a lot of students could do well with understanding what they are good at. What are their strengths? This is the start of the book. This is where we talk about self-reflection. So this is a lot of reflecting on your strengths, your work-ons / weaknesses, what are your motivations, and understanding what truly drives you. And this is an example. So we usually start off with what day it is, a little subtitle, an explanation of the concept, and then a question, just a question to prompt your thoughts, try and get you to journal a bit more.
Exactly. Perhaps we can do a little bit interactive fun activity. I can start with it. My superpower, for example, is I like to communicate, I like to reach out to new people, and I like to talk. Perhaps, Renee, what is your superpower? What do you think comes easy to you?
Connecting people, like seeing this person would like this person, or they'd be able to help each other, and putting them together.
Okay, nice. So you see a bit more interactive and people engage with the book.
I love it.
Yeah. So funny enough, again, a humbling experience. We are teaching this course at Wesleyan, and what happened?
I think we're going to take a step back first, because we told you that we built a journal, but alongside the journal, we were also simultaneously building a course.
Wow.
So the journal is now given to every freshman in the university, and we've started working with Nash Community College. We're working with Rocky Mount Academy to also provide it to all their students. But alongside that, we were building our course. And now we had the opportunity to teach that course at NC Wesleyan as a pilot almost. And in the first semester, we saw a lot of people being receptive towards it. And we were really humbled because we were given the educational program of the year, both for the course and the book. And for us, it was like almost surreal, because we started off thinking, who are we? And we were just trying to give as much knowledge and value as we could to students. And then to be at the end of the year realizing this has made a huge impact on those around us, it only gave us more confidence to spread the knowledge, spread the book. And I guess we're really excited for where we can go. The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It shows that the university takes care of the community, of the students, because they invested in the book. They invested that every new student got a book. So this showed us the value that we create something university and students care about. But now we would love to empower and reach out to as many students as possible. So we were thinking, hey, we are both two international students. We don't know so many universities or colleges. However, Rotary clubs here in North Carolina, they helped us a lot in connecting us with universities and colleges, and they bought some books for the Interact and Rotary by supporting the course, by taking care, proactive care for the mental health of young individuals. So we were wondering how we could spread the message and how we could create a kind of a movement, Hadio.
For us, it's definitely about creating a movement. Like, our focus is to help empower students and young adults and adults in general to take care of their mind. How can they live their best life? And I think that, as Greg has said, mental well-being is the core pillar of your life. So for us, it's about how can we spread that message. And we think working with Rotary has definitely helped us a lot, connecting with other schools. So we're open to so many options.
Yes.
We've started teaching a course in Uganda through the help of a Rotary club.
Where's that? Where?
Uganda, Kampala.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Salt Lake City is supporting Rotary Club in Kampala, and we're teaching them via Zoom. That's quite fun. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, to see like different, like being able to teach internationally and how they receive the knowledge, like they're so energized and grateful for what they're receiving, and they just seem so receptive. It's like conversations back and forth. And I think once people start talking about mental health, it just happens. Like a lot of people just internally, like they'll come up with conversations, they'll get in I guess they'll take interest. I think that's all what we've also found at school is someone just has to take the first step. And once someone takes the first step, they start coming on board.
Yeah. And so the idea that we had was the possibility of seeing if clubs would sponsor Interact clubs to be able to have these books. And also maybe we work with our Rotary clubs that are in colleges to see if those colleges might be interested. We've got University of Mary Washington, we've got University of Virginia, and or is it UVA or is it Tech that we have? UVA, University of Virginia. Yeah. And so let me just get an initial reaction from the crowd. Let me first go to Wavery. What do you think? What do you think about this? Give me your feedback. Or do you have any questions for these gentlemen first of all? Yeah.
Well, I have both. I think it's a great opportunity here, and I want to thank both of them for doing that. I have a good friend that a U.S. citizen. He's no longer a U.S. citizen. He's now a citizen of New Zealand, and he loves it there. So he said that would be his home forever. So he and his 3 sons and family all live there. But with me and the club that I am overseeing is the Early Act, which is elementary school. And I looking at your program, and it's more linked to probably high school and college. Is there something that you're looking at to make it a little bit more accessible for the elementary schools?
Yes, definitely. So we're currently in the works of making a kids version. So it's almost like a picture. Because we recognize kids think differently, we wouldn't expect them to journal on a daily basis. It would be a little bit less journaling, but more drawings, more understanding stories, short stories, and it's in the works. One of our team members. So we've got 4 team members, and one of them is taking care of that right now. That is what she's working on.
That's awesome. Oh, good news. That's really good news.
Yeah, that's great.
It would be awesome to get your feedback on the kids' journal, because to see if that's something kids would be responsive to, is that something kids would undertake? And it's obviously a refining process. So we're definitely all ears right now.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that since we have an early act program, if you guys don't have a whole lot of those that you're working with, maybe Wavery can get you in touch with teachers or somebody that would be able to, take a look at what you've got so far or whatever and say you're on the right track or whatever.
Yes.
I don't know, whatever we can do to help, I guess.
I would love to do that. And also I'll be a part of it if I could also, have some interact with it as far as giving feedback and helping to develop the process of at least giving you feedback.
Yeah.
Sure. Appreciate that.
Yeah, whatever you need. Okay, Bob, what do you got? Anything?
One, it's fantastic. You can hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. One, it's fantastic, and I definitely see a need and also like the approach by which you're taking on it. I know from experience and from a lot of friends and children of friends, the age group, high school and college, early 20s, the first bad shock and setback, oftentimes there isn't life experience to realize that, the sun still rises the next day. You still have a future in front of you. And that's a very critical period for avoiding the slide into depression, and which actually could be a trigger for, cascading things of crises. So in terms of how you've come about around to it and the approach you've taken, I think you're right on point. It's exciting that you've been able to get North Carolina Wesleyan to essentially incorporate it sounds like, as part of their freshman orientation. And you've been teaching it as a course as well. Is that for credit or how is that?
Sure.
Do you have a faculty advisor that's been working with you on it?
Gina Mester, no, yes, we have someone, yes.
Okay. And so far, it's only being applied at the University of Illinois campus, working with someone there. Is that correct, or are you still looking to expand it beyond your own campus?
So we're definitely looking to expand it beyond our own campus. So Greg and myself have been we're going to a boys club this week. We've been teaching online in Uganda. We're going to be so we've agreed to work with Rocky Mount Academy starting next month. And we've got Nash Community College in the work. So we're still working on agreeing when we're going to come in, how it's going to be rolled out, because they've got a lot of online students, and then considering that, because Gregor and myself can only be in certain places, so
we're also students.
So we've just finished filming our online course, and that's going to become available very soon, just once the final editing's done, post-production. So we're definitely looking to scale and try and get to as many places.
That's partly my concern. You're doing all the right things. Partly my concern is the scalability, and that you not overextend yourselves, but that you approach it somewhat strategically in figuring out, especially with our Rotary family, where strategically it may be best to incrementally partner and grow, and how that can help. As Renee mentioned, I'm co-chairing what's the organizing of a Rotary action group around mental health. And this is actually very well timed. I had a meeting this past week with the chair of the International Rotary Action Mental Health Initiative group and the past chair, and have been getting, to be honest, I'm learning as I go along, and I've got a better sense of who's who to talk with in the international space, but specifically for mental health. I can loop this in with them, especially given your international standing with us. And then I think we need to keep thinking aloud. As Renee mentioned, I guess we've got UVA and University of Mary Washington that would be logical, partners to work with and to start developing it. My background is that I did spend 20 years before retirement working in the national mental health community. So I got actually a network of knowing who's who, and also friends around the country, some of whom are psychiatrists and professors themselves. And I can, what I'd like to do is to sort of both with the recording of this conversation, but also and I think Renee, you may have sent it and I may have lost it, a link to the actual journal.
I don't think I had that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I ever had that. Okay.
But if I get that, and if there is like a link to what was the syllabus or the course description that you've used, those basic things, the journal, this recording, and a link to other documentation, I can start getting some reactions myself for it, and we can put it into the hopper of many things we're thinking about here for our district. Frankly, what's nice about this is that you're probably the first person through the door with what's a really solid idea that we could really run with early. And I'll need to talk to Renee and others about that first. We are still ourselves in that organizing phase. But anyway, I hope, I'm thinking aloud. I hope I'm not throwing too much at you, but hey, I'm excited. I think there's a lot of potential here, and let's see what we can do together.
No, thank you so much. We'll definitely get all the information through to you. Sorry, Renee, we haven't sent you the link. But
no,
it's okay, no problem.
I didn't know that existed. Bob, you'll remember Amelia gave these 2 books to RI President Gordon McAnally and RI President-elect Stephanie Urchik when we were there in Illinois last month. Right. So they have their hands on these books as well.
As well as the 2 I gave them.
Correct. So they got lots of mental health help from our visit. We were giving them. They must think we think they have
I would love to see what's on Gordon's bedstand or nightstand.
Right. Yeah.
He says, I started reading it last night, and I'm going, oh, you poor thing.
Right. Peter, did you have any questions or anything to add?
No, just yeah, a couple questions real quick, and I apologize. I may have missed this when I was getting a hold of
Searching.
Jonathan. Yeah. But now the book you have here that people are filling out, is this something that's going to be, when I say individual, in other words, the person is on their own, they do it and they reflect on it, or is this something that you have? They're going to have some type of either group session to each of them to discuss what they put in the book to learn amongst each other, or is there with an instructor or counselor someplace that they use this book with? How does that all work?
Oh, that's a great question. So what we've found is that, so we had high school in New Zealand. What they did was they just gave it to students as an orientation pack. Students went away and did it on their own. North Carolina Wesleyan, what they've done is every teacher, so that takes the introduction to Wesleyan class, which all freshmen have to take. So every teacher makes sure that the students have the necessary guidance and they're doing the actual work. So ensuring that they're not just writing one word, ensuring they're writing a little bit so they're actually reflecting. So it's quite flexible in terms of how you can implement it. But the way we've designed the book is to ensure that you can go on your own and there's prompts that provide you enough information to encourage you to reflect on the topic for the day.
Yeah, I mean, because when I look at some of this, to me, it's particularly young people, but even as you get older, okay, even if you fill out the book, I think there's benefit to find out you're not the only person thinking this way. In other words, when you think of challenges, because people, I'm ex-military, okay, and when you first get in there and you're a young officer, whatever, you're gung-ho, you're always told you're the best there is until you come up and fail one course. And that's not to say you're bad, but it's very disheartening. And eventually you learn that's nothing wrong with failing. Yeah, that's how you learn and grow. So, I mean, someone filling out one of these books, they put down and they, may do religiously and do what they're supposed to do, but okay, that's their thoughts. What they don't understand is they're not the only ones thinking this way. And that group piece to me would help, particularly when you're young in high school, even junior high, where it's all peer pressure and all of this kind of stuff, and you're very self-conscious about what you're doing, and you don't want to look stupid in front of someone else. To find out, hey, everyone's like you, it's a big deal, as opposed to you thinking you're the only one that's thinking this way or has these thoughts or whatever. So, I mean, that was where I was going with this, is, to be able to expand it like that. And I think there's a great potential here, particularly going in that route of getting students together to discuss and, and basically move forward.
I think that's a great suggestion. Something that we definitely have to, as you said, I think it's as you just said, like, knowing that someone else is also going through similar thoughts or similar concepts makes the world of a difference.
I think that's partly why I asked about wanting to see whether it's the course description or curriculum, because I'm assuming that it is part of some kind of course structure that included some kind of class or group interaction. And I second what Peter just said, is that the realizing that you are not alone, that anyone is not alone, no matter what the challenge may be, no matter what the illness may be. The idea of having, a support group, whether it's, people think in terms of group therapy, but really support groups is you partly lift each other, you share ideas, you realize that you're not alone. And what I was in some ways assuming was that I see this as a guidebook that can be worked with in small groups and as part of classes. Sure, possibly on alone individually, but I've had a lot of different workbooks and a lot of different kinds of self-awareness exercises, and oftentimes you do it, you're not even sure if you're on the right track. But also too, with growth without feedback really isn't the same kind of growth. Gregor, I'm interested. Where in Germany are you from?
Frankfurt, sir. Frankfurt am Main. Have you been there?
Okay. No, I've never been to Germany yet, I hope. And Haji, is it? Haji,
Yes, sir.
where are you from?
I'm from Auckland, so like the one city that pretty much runs New Zealand.
Okay. All right.
The big one, the one big one. Okay, Connie, did you have any questions or anything to add?
Yes, I do. So I'm really impressed, to be honest with you. My background is in manufacturing and business. Um, so I'm truly impressed by your thought process and what you're trying to do to help people. I think it's amazing. So you should be proud of that. I'm really impressed that you're looking at like elementary school, and I just wanted to throw out something for you that you know, you kind of have something here for maybe high school and for colleges. But when you're talking about the school system, you know, elementary is probably, like you said, more pictures, more drawings, that kind of stuff. And then there's another group called the middle school. So they're maybe a little bit beyond, you know, pictures and drawings. There may be more some other level between elementary and high school and college. So just a thought, just something to think about, because um, I don't know what the dynamics are of the people who are really suffering right now from mental health issues. Probably college students, you know, probably high school students, but maybe if we start a little younger, we could get people before they get into a downward spiral. So I just wanted to mention that, you know, it's great you're doing elementary, there's the middle school, there's the high school, there's the college level. Another group that I was thinking of, this is kind of like part B, is I don't know if this is the right place, but like seniors, senior centers, seniors, places where senior adults go, and maybe they don't have a lot of family and they don't have a lot of friends, and there might be an opportunity in the future. You might just want to put that on your checklist of who can you touch in the future. And the last thing that I had was, I don't know if you've thought about this or not, or if you already have this covered, but I would hate for this to be taken, this idea,
Yeah.
and misused, or not, that so that it doesn't a dollar sign put on it. I think that this is your idea and this is your concept, and there's a lot of passion and a lot of heart and soul that's been put into this. So whatever you can do to trademark it, patent it, copyright it, whatever those words are, I really think you need to do that, because otherwise somebody's going to take this and do something with it that you don't want.
Yeah.
And
Or
that
take
doesn't
credit,
mean the same thing for
or take
you.
credit for it.
Right.
So
Honestly,
I don't know what all those things are, but I just would like to see your idea and your vision and your passion surrounding this activity stay with you. That somebody else doesn't put their name on it and turns it into something that you don't want to have happen. So I just wanted to mention that to you. I'm sure your, you know, your mentors, your professors, your business leaders can help you do that, but I would just
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. And I'll
ask you to
mention
consider that.
I don't know the right directions or doors to point you towards for that, but I think it's one we can help you try to find out who can help you with. I think it is very important, even if this is something that you just want to distribute out of the goodness of your hearts. You don't want to have happen, which I have seen happen with other organizations and in other cases. Sometimes people are well-intentioned, and frankly, sometimes people are more self-interested. But
well, these guys do have the district support there in North Carolina. My district governor classmate, Tony Santori, I was just talking to him last night, and he is big fan of these guys.
Yeah, I'm just saying that
so yeah,
because,
they've got support there as well.
but I think in terms of making sure that you're protecting the intellectual property of it, what often happens is that people cut and paste and choose what they like. It distorts things. It gets into the and it's not necessarily what fidelity to what you're really trying to do. The other suggestion I would do, not really for much, is to maybe, and I may be able to help with this, is to look at a few of the other self-help courses.
Well, no, our piece for this, our piece for this isn't to help them with their book. It's to figure out how we could utilize it in our district.
Well,
sorry. I know you guys have good ideas. I just want to, I know time-wise, they do have classes, so I don't want to keep them too long. But
it's the helping instinct kicking in. But
I know we're Rotarians. That's what we want to do all the time. We're like, let me do this with you.
But my gut sense is that this does fill a niche that isn't necessarily got anything else in it right now. I could be wrong. So yeah, let's think about how we can use it here in Northern Virginia.
Yeah, I would love to try to see, and maybe if you guys can send a link to, information that we can kind of all share around. And then I know you guys work with a printer there. If you could talk to us about cost per book, and does it decrease when we order more, et cetera, et cetera? Are there different binding options and that kind of stuff? So whatever information you guys could share with us on that regard as a follow-up, then I'll have follow-up conversations with these folks, show Jonathan Lucas, our youth services chair, show Angela Conti and Donna Almberg, our Interact and our Rotaract leads, what we want to kind of happen. And then can it happen? Can we put these books in these colleges? Can we start talking about Interact clubs being able to use these? Because if we could have a facilitator in there talking to Interact kids using these books as a guide, that would be both that group setting and have that private journaling. And we've talked about the number 42 being the answer to everything. I read up on that more. And do you know why it is the answer to everything? Why? I'll tell you why. 42 is considered the meaning of life because, hold on. Because it's first of all, it's in the movie, but it's something to do with the symbol of, oh my gosh, it's the ASCII code for the symbol asterisk, also known as the symbol that's thought to translate to anything or everything. So if you have an asterisk, so 42 is the code for that. That means 42 equals everything, the meaning of life.
Wow.
But the thing is that is the answer to everything. But what's the question? No one's sure. Anyway, I'll leave that pondering. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Okay, so we'll have some side conversations. If you guys can provide us some information, I think we start figuring out how we implement this here in this district, how we work with you guys. Also, I may have mentioned your youth event that's happening on November the 4th, and we might have some of our Rotaract students that are going to be working on planning ours. We're going to connect you. I've already told Donna Almberg, and she's like, so we're having a sleepover later at the end of this month with them to kind of do some planning around some other things that are going on as well, and that's going to be incorporated into it. Anyway, we'll stay in touch.
Awesome.
But if you can send me information about your youth event as well, just so we can share that would be really awesome.
Okay.
So do you have any last minute questions or comments for us before we sign off and let you guys get back to your classes?
No, I think I'm just really grateful to meet you all. And I mean, just hearing the passion you guys have for the project gives us more confidence to keep pursuing it even further. Yeah,
let's see who we can serve and how many people we can benefit with it.
I love it. You guys are so great. I am so glad that Amelia introduced us. I couldn't be more grateful to her. So I'm really happy about this. We'll see you guys all online. We'll have conversations. Wavery, you, me, Angela, Jonathan, Donna, we'll get everybody on and we'll work on it, Bob, etc. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate
you guys.
And talk to you soon.
Good meeting you. And Renee, thanks for setting this up.
Oh my gosh, thanks for coming. All right, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
Have an awesome day.
You.
Yep.